The world watched in disbelief as Canada, often seen as America's most dependable ally, stunned Washington with a move that no one could have predicted. The usually calm waters of North American diplomacy were suddenly roiled by a decision that sent ripples across the globe. Canada's government issued a staggering $43 billion payback demand, targeting Tesla, one of America's most iconic companies. This bold action sent shockwaves through the US-Canada relationship, leaving business leaders and politicians scrambling to make sense of the new reality. Donald Trump, famous for his uncompromising America First stance, reportedly erupted in fury behind closed doors. To him, this wasn't just a policy dispute, it was a personal betrayal, a direct challenge to US dominance, and a threat to the legacy he worked so hard to build. This confrontation goes far beyond trade deals or political maneuvering. It's about national pride, the balance of power in North America, and the future direction of two nations that have long stood side by side. The global auto industry is rattled to its core. Lawmakers on both sides of the border are scrambling, holding emergency meetings to understand how relations could have soured so quickly and what it means for the future of cross-border commerce. Trump's carefully crafted legacy of strength and respect on the world stage is suddenly at risk. Canada's bold action signals a new era, one where even America's closest friends are willing to stand up and challenge the US when their interests are threatened. The stakes are enormous: billions of dollars in investments, the very future of Tesla as a global leader, and the stability of a historic alliance that has shaped the continent for generations. The air in Washington is thick with tension and uncertainty. Behind closed doors, politicians and advisors debate the best path forward, knowing that every decision could have far-reaching consequences. This is more than just a headline or a fleeting news story. It's a pivotal turning point in North American history, one that will be studied and debated for years to come. The implications are vast, touching everything from global supply chains and international trade agreements to questions of national security and economic stability. We are witnessing the opening chapter of a story that could redefine the very fabric of our continent, altering alliances and reshaping the future for millions. The stakes have never been higher. The world is watching. Let's dive in. So, what did Canada actually do to shake up the global electric vehicle industry? In a move that caught many by surprise, Canadian officials invoked a little-known clause buried deep within an international environmental accord and used it to retroactively slap Tesla with a hefty fee, citing the environmental impact of the company's extensive use of Canadian resources. According to Canada, Tesla's heavy reliance on their lithium and nickel mines has created a massive, unpaid environmental debt, one that's been quietly growing for years as the demand for electric vehicles skyrocketed. But this isn't just another tax or regulatory hurdle, it represents a fundamental rethinking of what it means to do business in the age of sustainability, where hidden costs can no longer be ignored. By weaponizing environmental policy, Canada is sending a clear message. Companies must pay for the true, long-term costs of the green revolution, not just the upfront price of raw materials. The decision blindsided Tesla's leadership, freezing billions in assets overnight and throwing carefully managed supply chains into sudden chaos, with ripple effects felt across the industry. Ottawa's so-called true cost provision gives them the legal right to seek compensation whenever one nation's industry places an undue burden on another's environment, a rarely used but powerful tool. By targeting Tesla, Canada is making a bold statement to the world. The benefits of a green economy cannot come at the expense of their land, water, and communities. Now, Tesla faces a multi-billion-dollar liability, a supply chain held hostage, and a future clouded by uncertainty as investors and partners scramble to assess the fallout. This is more than a legal dispute. It's a high-stakes power play, with both sides maneuvering for advantage in a rapidly changing global landscape. With this unprecedented move, Canada has drawn a clear line in the sand, signaling a new era of accountability for multinational corporations. And now, Tesla finds itself caught in the middle, forced to navigate the fallout of a conflict that could redefine the rules of the green economy for years to come. Where does the $43 billion figure come from? Canada says it's the cumulative cost of environmental damage from Tesla's use of Canadian minerals. They've tallied up land reclamation, water use, and the impact on Indigenous communities. This isn't a fine, it's a retroactive invoice for years of what Canada sees as an imbalanced relationship. The message, you won't build your green future on our environmental expense. For Tesla, the number is punitive and wildly inflated, a political shakedown, not a fair accounting. The legitimacy of this demand is hotly debated. Is it climate justice or protectionism in disguise? The answer will be fought over in courts and headlines. The money is the message. Trump's reaction was explosive, a sense of betrayal and humiliation. He believed his renegotiation of NAFTA had settled the score with Canada. Now, Ottawa's move feels like a direct attack on his legacy and America's strength. Trump sees international relations as transactional, based on personal deals and power. Targeting Tesla, a symbol of US innovation, only adds insult to injury. For Trump, this is personal, a challenge to his reputation as a master negotiator. He's calling for massive retaliation tariffs on Canadian goods and a hardline rejection of Canada's claim. This isn't about diplomacy, it's about reasserting dominance. Trump wants to send a message: America won't be pushed around. For Trump, this is a fight for honor. He believes America must win, decisively. Why now? Canada's timing is no accident. With global economic nationalism rising, Canada wants to redefine itself, not just as a supplier, but as a power in the green economy. The US is distracted by political turmoil, making this a moment of maximum leverage. Domestically, the move plays well with Canadians demanding tougher stances on trade and the environment. Hitting Tesla targets the heart of the US EV industry, causing maximum disruption. Canada is leveraging its control over critical resources to force a reckoning. They waited for their moment and struck when their leverage was highest. This is about sovereignty, strategy, and timing. Canada is playing for keeps. For Tesla, the consequences are dire. The company now faces a challenge unlike any it has encountered before, with its very survival hanging in the balance. A $43 billion liability threatens the company's future and sends investors into a panic. The stock market reacts swiftly, with Tesla's shares tumbling and uncertainty spreading throughout the financial world. Tesla's North American supply chain is in jeopardy, risking factory shutdowns and job losses. Production lines that once hummed with activity now stand silent as the company scrambles to secure critical materials. The ripple effects hit thousands of American workers and suppliers. Families and communities that depend on these jobs now face an uncertain future as layoffs and cutbacks loom. This crisis exposes a vulnerability: America's dependence on foreign resources for the green economy. The supply of essential minerals and components is no longer guaranteed, putting the nation's clean energy ambitions at risk. Canada's move highlights the power of resource-rich nations. By controlling access to key materials, countries like Canada can influence global markets and shape the future of entire industries. The US may be forced to rethink its entire supply chain strategy. Policymakers and business leaders must now consider new partnerships, domestic sourcing, and innovative solutions to secure America's industrial future. Other countries are watching. If Canada succeeds, more could follow. This could trigger a wave of protectionism, as nations seek to safeguard their own resources and industries. The era of cheap, easy access to global resources may be ending. Supply chains that once spanned continents are now vulnerable to disruption, forcing companies to adapt or fall behind. The stakes go beyond Tesla. The entire American auto industry, and even the broader economy, could be reshaped by these developments. This could reshape the auto industry and US economic policy. Lawmakers are now debating how best to respond, weighing the need for security against the risks of isolation. America is on the front line of a new world. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the choices made today will define the nation's path for years to come. The ball is in America's court. The US faces pressure to respond. Retaliatory tariffs or legal action are both on the table. A trade war with Canada would devastate both economies, but backing down could set a dangerous precedent. Legal battles could drag on for years, leaving Tesla and the US economy in limbo. Public opinion will shape Washington's response. Will Americans rally or divide? The trust between the US and Canada has been shattered. This could be a short, sharp shock or the start of a bitter rivalry. Every move will be scrutinized on the world stage. The fate of North American trade, Tesla, and the world's longest undefended border hangs in the balance. The game is on. The next few weeks will be critical. The world is watching.